And I've reached the point in the show where I'm reading you a story by Ezekiel Kralin, further in the chronicles of the two little dogs that he has on his mind seemingly all the time, or at least did a couple of years ago. Hate Flyer is the title of this. Ezekiel Kralin wrote, Email correspondence, July 12th. Subject, this morning was like Grand Central, continued. Date, July 12th. And there's the number 5 and a period after it for some reason. I don't know why, but there it is. 5. Upon opening the gate to re-enter Hotel California North, I found myself obstructed from climbing the stairs because Cortez and the PG&E agent were on the first landing, discussing matters relevant to hooking up the elevator circuitry. So I had no choice but to stand in the lobby until the blockage cleared, because I'm not a rude person. I only had to wait about a minute, though, upon which they descended the stairs still talking, while Cortez set down a small cardboard box upon the glass-top coffee table, which Kevin had gifted to the lobby a few years back. He suddenly addressed me. Electricity is going to be off for 10 minutes this Saturday. Just thought you should know. So I replied with a poker face and my hand pointing to my heart like a Jesus trope. But what about my pacemaker? Cortez didn't miss a beat, said, wait a minute, and wrapped up his discussion with Mr. PG&E, who was standing in the vestibule again, waiting for some final instructions. As he held the gate open for the gentleman to pass, Cortez looked back at me and said, sorry to keep you waiting. No, that's fine, I answered. Then he approached me again, whereupon I quipped, you know, my pacemaker thing was a joke. Some people don't get me. Oh, I got it, he replied. I have a weird sense of humor myself. You have to if you're going to work here, I rejoined. Then he picked up the small box that I saw was full of large silver keys with a squarish head and handed me one. Here's the new gate key. I noticed it had the American flag embossed on one side, which Republican ownership implied therein I found distasteful and was tempted to turn it down, but of course I accepted it, since Cortez was not to blame for the desecration of a perfectly fine, glistening artifact of metallic craftsmanship, and exclaimed regarding the key's heft and size. Impressive. Yeah, they make good keys, he replied, though I'm not really sure that's what he said. I was still half asleep, jonesing for that sweet golden brown elixir to flow down my esophagus and eventually through my veins, once I finally managed to burrow back into my humble Franciscan cell. He then picked up the box, his phone, and some folded papers and marched upstairs while wishing me in a most positive tone of voice, You have a really nice day, Zeke. And I replied, yes, I'm sure I will, now that I have a shiny new key I can use to signal UAPs flying overhead. You too now. 6. I waited 10 seconds or so until ascending to the second floor myself, that I may have clear passage, but I did not, because Cortez was now chatting with another resident who turned out to be, of all people, Chihuahua Man, who politely moved his pups aside so I could get by and reach my door at last. Sidebar. A few minutes later, I took a closer look at the key to discover the business title, Warman Security, on the other side. Fuck this, I thought. A security company inspired by right-wing conspiracy twaddle. What has this city come to? We need to secede from the Union post-haste. Signed, Zeke K. Holmes. P.S. I just came up with a perfect retort. Should Cortez ever ask, are you hitting up on me? My reply, geez, I stopped having sex when the first animal crawled onto land. I didn't want to cause any more damage. Or maybe this, geez, I stopped having sex when the first animal crawled onto land, because that's when I realized they were all trying to get away from me. I'm writing down a note about the electrical rates because this story has reminded me of a process that some kind of government established thing. Probably they'll take it away now that all the Trump business is coming to pass. Medical device. If you have a medical device running in your house, like a CPAP machine or something like that, you can get reduced electrical rates from PG&E. I read about that months ago and forgot entirely about it. I think I know several people who have medical devices running in their house. I should probably follow up on that. Save them some money. Subject, Zeke wrote, urgent Mike Sears has distributed hate notices about me along my block and I guess elsewhere. To various contacts up in Mendocino County, date July 13. Again, keep in mind, this was 2023. Keep this to yourself for now, though it's okay to discuss this with my dear Watson, Alden Hope, and Marshall McGee, who have also received this message. To save time, I'm posting to you a copy of the message I texted to our new building manager. It explains all. Begin. Cortez. Another resident just informed me someone is distributing vile notices about me with my name, address, phone number, and email, and he said you might have taken a picture of it. I'd like a copy of that. And if you have the printout, that too. I know who this is, a notorious neo-Nazi loser out of Mendocino County who's been stalking and threatening me online for over 2 years now. He found me through the Mendocino Community Network mailing lists, which I've been participating in for 7 years because I have friends up there. The radio station KNYO reads one of my latest tales each Friday night. My harasser has a history of malicious behavior and visits this city now and then, but the mailing list management refuses to ban him. I need a copy of the hateful notice so I can proceed with reporting him to the SFPD, the FBI, and the Bay Area Reporter and San Francisco Bay Times. As a long-term queer activist, especially online, shit like this happens to me, but only online till now. I have his photo, by the way. I can send it to you. Sorry for the long text, and please feel free to also report this to the police department as he's a menace to LGBTs in general. If possible, can you access the camera data from above the front gate and try to find the culprit? At any rate, the cops will need access to whatever CCTV sources they can get. End. To be continued.